let's go ahead and bring in Shanon Stibor from Shannon's Dance Academy and Keego Harbor on the Oakland County Megacast. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So before we talk about how you're helping parents navigate the back to school challenges, talk to us a little bit first about your dance academy. What has it been like for you to try to get through this time?
It has definitely been challenging. We have had to come up with a lot of new ways to keep the kids interested and focused and continue with their dance education. Right when we had to close in March, we went immediately to Zoom. It definitely was a learning curve, but we were able to get pretty much everyone involved with that. And we had to teach all the rest of the choreography through Zoom, which was, we thought it was going to be harder than it was. But when we saw the kids at the end, once we were able to come back in person in June and see some of them dancing, the way they picked up the choreography through Zoom was really amazing to see how they turned out and how hard they worked. So we also had some kids that did not want to come back yet when we were able to come back in person and dance outside. So they stayed on Zoom. So it was kind of a combination between children on Zoom and children outside of the studio. And we were able to pull off a recital a month late, but we were able to do it outside and it turned out great. The dancers were amazing and everyone was just so happy that they could finally dance and see each other and perform in front of an audience after all those months of being so isolated.
Shannon, I think about this Zoom because one time for our Halloween, we live right behind you in the Harbor Village subdivision. We tried to teach a group of people Thriller for our Halloween show at our house, and that was hard enough, and it was a YouTube video. And these are adults, but you're talking about kids that are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Do you think because they're younger, they're better to navigate these changes?
Maybe they're probably a little better with the technology than we are, but yeah, they did great. We started kids at 2.5, so we had a bunch of little ones as well. It's harder to keep their attention at that age, so we did lose a couple, but I was surprised by how many stuck it out and were able to perform at the end. They just really soaked up that choreography. It was really great.
So when we're on the subject of dance, people think it's, it's not only exercise, but talk a little bit about the benefits that children get out of being a participant in one of these dance groups.
It's really a sense of belonging and having a group, those that are on dance teams as their team, but even every class is like their little team, whether on Zoom or in person. It's their connection to their peers. And aside from that, obviously the exercise and the growth they experience just from the music and the movement and all the physical activity.
So what's this been like for you? You said that you are in June, some of the people started returning. Are you doing classes outside, and how is that working, and what protocols do you have in place?
Yeah, we've been having our classes outside. So we have the parents just drop off their children towards the side of the building and they wait for us to come get them. And then we walk them around to the back and we spread them out and do our dance classes in the back. And then when we're done, we bring them back out to the parking lot to their parents. So it's definitely been a little different, but everybody knows what to do and they go ahead with it. So it's been working out very well.
Any plans in the future to continue on with virtual aspects of teaching dance, or is it going to continue to just be in person when things do eventually transition back to some normalcy?
Now it will probably be mostly in person once we're able to do, everyone feels comfortable coming in. But until then, we will have the Zoom option always because we want everyone to be able to participate. And then, whenever all this ends and people are comfortable coming back in, we will have it here, but that is always an option. If people want an online option, want a Zoom option, that is always, now that we've gotten a little comfortable with it, we're like professional Zoom teachers now, so we can teach them their dance classes through it if that's what people want and what people need.
We've all become somewhat Zoom experts during all of this. So Shannon, as I mentioned, I live in Keego Harbor, and I saw on the Keego Harbor Facebook page about what your dance academy is doing to help some of the parents with childcare issues as they head back to school. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I think this is a great, once again, it's how small communities come together.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I saw all the people were struggling, what they're going to do with their children if they don't have in-person school, or if they're just not comfortable sending their children. But then what do they do when they have to work? So we figured our studio's here. We got plenty of room. We'll open up. We have 2 large rooms that we can spread the kids apart. We'll have a pot of 8, and we'll have kids come in during their virtual school time, and they can take all their online classes here. They'll bring everything they need, all their technology, their school supplies, and we'll set up separate workstations in both rooms for them. They'll have plenty of room to spread out, and they will do their schoolwork. We'll be here to facilitate, help out as needed. Once they have breaks during the day from their classes, we will organize some outdoor activities and dance classes, arts and crafts, music, yoga, anything depending on the age and the kids that we have here, whatever their interests are, to get them moving, give them a brain break, and get their bodies away from their workstations and get some activity throughout their day.
What's the response been from the people who want to take advantage of this?
Yeah, it's been really great. I've had a lot of people express interest. I sent out all the final information this week, so if anyone's interested, you just need to contact the studio. I'm hoping to have our pot of 8 by the end of this week. We plan on starting on the 8th. It seems like that's when most people need it. So we're going to try and wrap things up this week and get the group together to get it going.
So if people do want to find more information about that service you're providing and maybe even get their kid into one of those pods, how can they get in contact with you, Shannon?
Yeah, the best way is to email me at shannonsdance@comcast.net, and Shannon has 1 N in the middle, so it's SHANONSDANCE@comcast.net, or to call the studio and leave a message, 248-706-1677, and I'll get back to them right away with all the information.
So we're speaking with Shanon Stibor, owner of Shannon's Dance Academy in Keego Harbor. Shannon, how do you think this is going to work? Are you going to separate them by age group or grades? And do you have specific ages and grades that you are accepting?
It seemed to turn out that we're having a lot between 1st and 3rd grade. So that seems, especially 1st graders, it seems like those are the most in need. So I feel like it's kind of working itself out. But we will take any grades and we will divide them. Though we have some siblings also, so that works out nice, so the siblings can be together. But since they have to be separated anyways, they're all going to be at their own workstations, and we'll just go around and see how they're doing. So the age doesn't matter too much, and the only thing that will really matter is once we do whatever physical activities we do and whatever dance, but we can even divide them in groups and do whatever is best for that age group.
I will say I wouldn't want anyone in 5th grade because I couldn't help them with the new math at all. Forget that.
Yeah, that might be the problem.
So tell us, how is your studio surviving right now? Are you able to make it? And I know the governor is speaking today. Are you anticipating that she may allow studios such as yours to reopen?
I'm really hoping so, because we definitely need that to get going. The registration is slow for the fall. I think people are just hesitant, not sure what they're doing and what they want to do. So kind of waiting. Usually we have a little more registration by now, but I'm hopeful that people, once they get schooling figured out and what they're doing and school gets started, then they'll start getting back into dance. But yes, I'm waiting on the governor's report today. I've heard some rumors that she's going to address dance studios and gymnastics, so I'm hoping that there's something to give us a little more direction.
We've been speaking with some other businesses that have been closed, such as bowling alleys, and they've had an issue with some of the people going across the state lines because facilities are open, like in Ohio and Indiana. Are you experiencing that as well?
No, I wouldn't with this, just because they're so young and the parents are kind of keeping their kids at home if they're not dancing. So I haven't had anything like that.
So we're speaking with Shanon Stibor. Is it Stibor or Stibor? I'm sorry, I should have. Stibor. Okay. Owner of Shannon's Dance Academy in Keego Harbor, Michigan. If the governor decides not to reopen today, how much longer do you think your studio can survive?
Well, as long as people keep registering and they're all right with the outdoor as weather permits and as it holds up, and then going back to Zoom like we did last spring, then we should be okay. So it really just depends on our dance community and just anyone else around who wants to support their local dance studio to keep it going, so that once things do get better, that we will still be here at the end for them.
One of the things, we've been so lucky with the weather here in Michigan this summer, but what will you do if this goes into the winter months? I would imagine 3, 4, and 5-year-olds do not want to be out in the snow dancing.
Well, none of us do. Yeah, we'll just have to go back to Zoom for that and hope people want to stick it out. And what we did in the spring is we kind of spread out our dance season a little longer than we usually do. And we did some Zoom classes and gave them like a week or 2 off just to kind of give them a break from that, and then went back on it just to kind of get through those winter months and the time that we couldn't meet in person.
So I know one of the big things about dance is it is a community, and it's bringing these kids together. What have you seen as they've started to return to your classes outside? Are they excited to be back together, or has this hurt those relationships because they haven't had that consistent schedule of being able to be close to one another?
Yeah, no, they loved it. When they came back, you should see the smiles on their faces, and they're dancing so hard. I mean, they love it being back here. So it definitely it was like a big celebration when we had those few weeks back before our show, and now for the summer classes. We were able to do some summer camps as well, which we've never done before, but we figured we needed to kind of bring more people in and get more stuff to survive the summer. And yeah, the kids were super excited. They just love being back here at the studio in some aspects, seeing their teachers and seeing their friends. So it was great to see.
So I am curious because dance moves require people to touch and be close to one another. Did you have to change your choreography, and how did that work, and how is that working in the middle of this pandemic?
Yeah, for the younger kids, we did have to change some, but they usually don't have too much. We just spread them out. Some parts were like holding hands, going in circles, those types of things, and we just switched those, just doing their own circle with hands on their hips or whatever the choreography was. So there wasn't too much to change for that. The older ones, the parents and the dancers and the teachers all discussed because they had competitions coming up as well. So they wanted to compete as their dances were. So with everyone's permission and being as safe as we could with everything else, sanitizing, hand washing, not being together for too long, we were able to pull those dances off as they were.
Shannon, just a couple more minutes with you. Anything that we didn't touch on that you think the community would like to know, or anything you want to share with them?
Yeah, not too much more. I just want to thank everyone who has been supporting me, and those who haven't, if they want to come by, see the place, see how we're doing things, have their kid come try a class. We start back on September 10th for our fall classes. And just shoot me an email, give me a call. I'd love to meet you and see how your dancer does. We had some new students over the summer too that just had a great time. And we just want to get everyone together and dancing again, and the kids just kind of getting out of the rut of being so isolated, and just it's very freeing when they're dancing, and it's very enjoyable. So it's something they really need. So I hope everyone will continue to support us, and to see them all in September.
Real quick though, just to clarify, if parents are interested and they need a place for their kids to go in this upcoming school year, they don't have to be a dancer, correct?
Correct. Yes, the learning pods are open to anybody during the kids' school hours, so they can come do that. They don't have to be a dancer, and we will offer some dance or other activities during that, but they don't have to be enrolled in our studio, and they don't have to take our other dance classes.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate having you on the Oakland County MegaCast, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.